Welcome back to another My Hero Academia review. Today is the season finale of season 3. I'm Justin.
What is up? I'm Logan.
And together we're Couch Talk. As always, we're anime viewers only, no source material. And we're discussing episode and give our scores at the end. You ready?
I'm ready.
So I'm a little bit energetic right now because I rage quit stream from Soul Calibur 6. So let's get into this.
You got all that emotion to let go. I love Hero Academy.
We could not have been more wrong on our judgment of the big three.
Right,
we're
holy
like,
shit.
Amajiki, he's going to be the serious type. No, he's just the super shy, nervous type who doesn't want to quite do anything.
Right.
He's like me. He's like, I don't want to give...
I don't blame him.
Trying to imagine them as potatoes.
Like, I thought he was going to be intimidating because he's like stared him down. And he's like, even with potato heads, they're still humans. I'm like, dude, what? I don't blame him. Speaking in front of crowds, top 5 worst things in anime and in real life.
We thought Hado would be kind of like the calm one to like mediate between the two. No, she's just the super curious, like
right.
outgoing type, like asking questions like, "What's your mask for? What do these horns do? What happens when you lose them?" Like, it's like, why do you have burn on your face?
Right. Or she's like, you have balls on your head. How do you get a haircut? It's like so funny.
She never gives them a chance to answer too. Some of those questions I was actually curious
right,
about.
so was I. Was like, that's
like Todoroki? Yeah, sure. Give me the answer. Even with the mask, it's like, yeah, why not? It's probably just style, but he was about to say something that made it seem a little more than just style, but
she is
we'll never know.
Very curious, and energetic. And
then, of course, Mirio, who's the closest to number 1, including the pros.
That was surprising. Which that speaks highly. I mean, I guess Eraser said not, like in his opinion, right? He said, from my view, he's. I'm assuming this is like obviously post All Might, so he's the closest.
Yeah,
and to Endeavor. Is that what you'd think they'd implied? Like he's the closest to being on the same level as Endeavor.
I don't know. I kind of took it to being closer to All Might.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like, because I was like, I wonder how they actually mean it. Because it could mean closest to All Might, which imply he's like obviously. Well, both imply he's super strong.
Yeah, either way, it's really good.
Right.
Like, because he's not a pro yet, but he's still considered to be closest to number 1.
Right.
I feel like even though Endeavor's number 1 now, that everyone still calls All Might number 1, which is why I think it's leaning
that could be
way.
True.
Because they keep talking about this gap All Might left, and how even though Endeavor's there, he's not quite number 1 or whatever. It's like it's like that number 1 slot's been taken, will never be filled.
He is strong though, so he straight up says, I know what we can do. Let's fight. All of you versus me. I'm like,
yeah, it's the show's experience. And like he worked really hard, okay? He's not just like blessed with the quirk.
His quirk is actually very technical too. Like he was explaining it like, yeah, he can phase through stuff, but like that means like everything phases through, and also like if he goes underground, like they were getting super technical. It's like, the masses can't be there, so it like displaces me. Which
that I found interesting because like a lot of things take it. If like teleportation, if you teleport into a wall, you basically kill yourself in a lot of different like shows and stuff. And it's like his is kind of like the same concept there, where he's just not in there, but all of a sudden he is there. But because they can't be there together, he gets launched out, which you can bring a lot of momentum.
True.
Depending on how you launch
that is why
out.
He's so fast. He's like, I have to like angle myself and stuff. He is strong, and his quirk is really cool and really interesting.
He's like, I was trying not to show my willy.
Right, his clothes like naturally fall.
So definitely saw his willy. Like when he came up behind, what was it? Was it
Jiro? It was Jiro, the headphone girl.
Oh yeah, it was. And she like freaked out.
She's like,
she saw it. Hopefully, it's a good looking Willy.
I'm hoping his hero costume takes care of that. How he just, because every time he phases out, his clothes are gonna fall off, like because everything goes through him.
Maybe he's like, Invis girl. You just have to go nude.
Hey, maybe it catches the villains off guard. They're like, bro,
there's a penis in my...
stop that.
You're like, where'd he go? There's a penis in your face. All of a sudden, it's like, what's going on? But yeah. So they decided to fight, and I like how before they fight, you still have Otto playing with the horse. Right. It's like, what's going on over there? Whatever, we'll just ignore it. But Deku steps up, which, I mean, Mirio already had a, interest in Deku, but it definitely grew in this fight because Deku was able to like predict how he was going to do things.
Right.
But you just can't hit someone who can phase through everything.
Right.
And he's been working up the skill. Like he expected the counterattack from Deku at the end. But
right. Him and Deku are pretty similar, where they had to like work to where they are. They weren't really naturally gifted. So
yeah,
there's kind of like a connection there.
Yeah, because even like Kaminari or one of them, the electric guy, who was like, if I had that ability, I would never be able to do any of this technical stuff. Yeah, Kaminari. Because that is something you would have to spend a lot of time just perfect.
Right. He even spoke about how walking through walls, it's like he can't just, turn it all on at once, or, he'll just go through the ground. He has to like...
That's constant calculations you're doing too.
Right, like that's a lot of thinking.
Because you're not just thinking on one leg, you have to think both legs at the same time, in your arms and like part of your body and stuff. And it's like, that's a lot to get through. And he definitely decimates all of them.
Right.
Like not even close.
He straight up destroys class. Well, it wasn't all of Class A, obviously. Todoroki and Baku.
Yeah,
Baku's still banished, but Todoroki kind of recognized like...
Yeah, and he's like, I don't have my provisional exam, like license yet, so I'm just gonna sit this out and just till I can catch up.
Right.
Basically saying he's not worthy yet, but
he's like, I ain't gonna go get punched.
And basically the work studies, you're gonna be not just watching, learning around. You're actually gonna be competing. He even mentions, like, once you're a pro, you're gonna be seeing people die.
Right. I thought that
other
was
pros could die.
Quite a unique point to bring up. Like he was just like, there's gonna be stuff you're gonna see that's gonna be pretty awful, but you have to learn from your experience.
Yeah. And when they leave, he does mention a sir that would like Deku, which we got a little glimpse of Sir there.
Right near the end.
Yeah, near the end. Because, Gran, Deku called Gran Torino to ask about the work studies. But he can't do it because, he has a lot of other stuff to work on. And then he's like, you'll just have to do it with All Might's previous sidekick.
That was interesting too. I didn't even think about All Might having a sidekick.
It's weird because I feel like they mentioned it once before, and but I'm not sure if they did or not.
They could have.
But I felt like they did, but I could be wrong or something.
I can't remember specifically.
Yeah, so that will be interesting to see how this goes. Where Deku does end up, because he could end up with Sir, unless somehow Sir was the sidekick.
I'll say it could be a connection there.
But Sir was looking after Overhaul, and trying to
keep it.
They watched Overhaul go to the League of Villains, basically.
Right.
Which Overhaul is a creepy looking, not looking, but a creepy dude. Like
he is. This was definitely. I feel like he's gonna be our main antagonist for the next season because that's how they kind of set it up. They're bringing in Overhaul, and he's gonna be because he kind of seems like he kind of wants to. He doesn't seem he would work well with others. I guess he's probably.
But he was part of a gang, though.
True, he was part of a gang, but I'm sure he was.
But not taking orders. He was definitely
he was
giving
the leader of the gang.
Yeah.
So this should be interesting. because he seems to, be kind of. I mean, I guess all villains are kind of just not good people, but it's
But
gonna
no, yeah,
be
he does give off like this badass vibe.
right, like I'm in charge vibe or something.
Yeah, I do want to see more of him and his quirk and everything,
Right.
and how he ends up with the League of Villains, because he does seem like someone who could be good at like recruiting people. He did have a group, I'm getting like,
Right.
which is what they need to do is recruit a whole bunch of people. But he seems like the top recruit right now. I just want to know more about Sir as well.
Right. I mean, that's most. I did like how we still don't know the other twos from the big three's quirks.
Yeah,
so that's
Hado and Amajiki, like
that's interesting that they kept those a secret. I mean, I'm sure they did on purpose, but we didn't even get like a name or anything. So I'm kind of very curious as to what theirs could be.
Yeah, because the only one they got was Mirio because they fought him, permeation and stuff. So
Right.
And of course, after credits, season 4 is being made.
Woo!
Yeah, like I was about to say, whoop-de-doo. That's not a whoop-de-doo statement. That's a duh statement. It's like, it's not like you're gonna come out and say season 4 has been canceled. Like, what? That would be a what?
That'd be crazy.
So, yes, that was the finale though.
Hey.
Ready.
You wanna jump into scores?
Yeah, jump into scores.
Go ahead if you want.
Yeah, I'm trying to feel it because, like, as a finale, right? Like, it sets up a little bit at the end, but it's more like on the chill side of finales, like as it goes.
Right.
But it's still a really good episode.
I feel it's kind of hard to judge long-going shows on season finales because, like, obviously it's gonna be a continuation. Like, if we were to, wait until it's fully finished and watch it, this would It's kind of strange.
Yeah. That's
like on a show finale where it's like just one show. I kind of, have like high expectations for a finale. This one is kind of hard to judge. It's like
that's why it's a little harder to judge. Like like you said, finales at this end. But I really did enjoy this episode though. So I think like a 9, maybe. I think that's where I sit. That might be a little high. I'm not sure, but we'll give it there.
It's your score. So
it is my score.
It's not like we have a committee come in and audit our scores.
That's where I'll sit. Just a thoroughly good episode about like to see who's the closest to number 1 and watch them fight, and it gets you set up to where they could expect for their work studies. And I hope we get a little more emphasis on the part where he was talking about how you could watch pros die. We haven't really seen that yet.
I feel like since they said it, that might be a small setup to something bad might happen.
Especially with Overhaul. Overhaul's getting a big setup too.
And especially since like last episode, it literally showed Dobby roasting people. Like it was heavily implying that they were dead. I know that's kind of like they were just minor characters, but to go from that and then have a character who's a hero say, hey, you're going to witness death, I feel like there's some significance there.
Yeah, I do think there is as well. And, I think Slur's an interesting character that we've seen a little bit. He's kind of like a PI / like kind of had like a researcher kind of look to him too. Like,
right.
It's kind of weird. So, but the fact that Mirio is under him makes it even more interesting. So I think they did a good job of like setting up where we could go possibly.
Right. I agree with the 9. It was super enjoyable. I like the introduction to the big 3. You kind of saw their personalities, which is always good. They did hide the quirks from the other 2, which keeps me intrigued. Mirio just straight up, the fight was super cool, and it was funny at the same time. But it also, I feel like it did a good job showing like how far Deku actually is from like being this, the new symbol of peace. Because like,
yeah, because we rewatched him like even losing to Bakugo.
Right, like
in the beginning, like
he's still got quite a long way to. Obviously, he has a lot of growth for his power as well, but he has a long way to go just in general. Like there's tons of people still ahead of him. I did like the ending setup. Overhaul, I feel is going to be a very interesting pretty cool. I feel like he would be someone to kill someone too. Like that's
Dude,
the vibe I'm getting.
Him and Davi together just terrifies me.
Right.
First
Like
of all, those two are, I think, my... Davi is definitely probably out there as like my favorite villain. And then Overhaul might, depending on how they do with Overhaul, could definitely go up there with it for me. So
he seems very... He does give this like creepy, chilling vibe. I'm like, ugh. Every time he's on screen, I just feel uncomfortable. It's so weird.
It's
But
great.
that means it's good. Like he's a villain, he's supposed to give that feeling. But yeah, it was enjoyable. I'm ready for season 4, obviously.
Yeah.
Too bad we gotta wait.
Probably spring.
Probably spring 2019.
Yeah, spring.
Fall,
maybe
winter, spring.
Maybe summer. I think summer at the latest.
Yeah, it's my bet would be spring. They could be like surprise us and say winter. I doubt that. And they could disappoint us and say summer, but I'm pretty sure it's spring.
I'm sure it's spring. It's usually 2 seasons off,
Right.
And there. So, but that does it.
Woo!
My Hero
My Hero,
Academia
the season.
episode reviews. Yeah. Obviously, we'll have the full season review next week.
But spiel time.
As always, to avoid the willies, be sure to hit the like, subscribe.
To avoid the willy.
I guess you could cover your eyes, but why did you cover your eyes? Then you couldn't hit that like, hit that subscribe. Anyway, comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the episode, what you didn't like about it. When you score it, anything like that. We will be doing the full season review next week, so we can have full season discussions. But yeah, until then, peace out.
See ya.